Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is Thomas and we're here to play Dead Secret in VR. Now if you just, comfort mode, I don't know. Yeah, I decided to record a VR game for you because I just thought it'd be interesting to see how it went. This is supposed to be a horror game called Dead Secret. It's basically you've got to find out what's happened to a man that's died, a man that's in recluse. So basically, like, doesn't really have anything to do with anybody, and you basically find him dead. So it's just about investigating that, and apparently there's other forces at work, and there's something that's basically trying to get you. So let's go.
Harris Bullard was found dead in his study 5 days ago. Nobody believes me, but I think he was murdered. This house in the middle of nowhere holds the secret.
Right.
There's a story hiding here, and I'm going to cover it. If I'm right, there are 4 major suspects. Graham Wellington, Josie Herrera, Cynthia Peckman, Bobby Sawyer. I'm not leaving until I find out what happened.
Small parcel tied tightly with twine. I can't open it with bare hands. Reclusive proof found dead in home. Gov. K.S. Harris Bullard, a retired college teacher, was found dead in his home Monday. His body was discovered by Bobby Sawyer, who worked part-time for Bullard running odd jobs. Police investigation has concluded that Bullard died of natural causes. He was 63. Bullard moved into his home on Rampo Way several years ago, but was rarely seen about town. He was a private and reclusive man who seemed to have few friends. Bullard raised eyebrows last year when a former student, a pretty young woman named Josie Herrera, moved in with him. Bullard's will, written in 1957, leaves his entire estate to his ex-wife Cynthia Peckham. Peckham will reportedly sell the house and its contents immediately. Harris was a genius in his discipline, said Graham Wellington, a former colleague. The field of neuroscience is considerably poorer without him. Wait, this isn't the crime scene. I need to investigate the study. I'm sure this door leads to where Bullard's body was found, but it's locked. A small key. Investigate the crime scene. Okay. Sorry, this is a bit, weird to control. This is where Bobby Sawyer found Bullard's body. He'd been dead for a couple of days though. The coroner ruled that Bullard died from pancreatic failure. The body didn't have a mark on it, no trauma, no signs of a struggle. If he was murdered, his killer was pretty sneaky about it. The body didn't have a mark. Okay, that's it. It's a note with a foreign symbol on it. Underneath it reads North. Something's typed out here. Something's typed out here, but the paper is so far into the feeder that I can't pull it out. No doubt, Joe, something is after me. It's creeping around the house, trying to get in. I'm sure of it. I heard footsteps outside and creaking on the roof. It's not safe. I've taken the ideofocal lenses from their normal location and hidden them in my study. I've sent you a package that you'll know what to do with. Check out the map for the mask. As usual, X marks the spot. Harris. PS, and the sequence is west, east, north. Bullard hid something in this room, very suspicious. This will be a great help for my opening paragraph. What's this? It looks like a tiny lens for a camera. Circular lens. It's a record player, there's no record inside. There's a page for a manuscript here. The man who could see with his skin. In 1926 I met a man who could see with his skin. His eyes were sealed with wax and bandaged, yet he remained aware of the room around him. We held up signs which he read, and fingers which he counted even when we stood behind him. After the performance I gave him $200 for the secret. It is plain that he could see as long as some part of his skin remained exposed to the air. He described it as a shift in the wind or a slight breeze on his face. The subtle motion of the hair on his arm. After years of focused practice, he developed the ability to form a mental image of his surroundings based only on these slight sensations. This man had achieved a form of idea focus. Granted, he only had access to a very narrow range of sensory information, but the result was powerful. I immediately resolved to discover the secret of his ability. Now, almost 4 decades later, I am very close. There's a newspaper clipping here. It reads, Eyeless Joe found dead in hotel. Weird. Well, I have to say this game is quite fun so far. The Snow Woman, adapted from an original translation by Lafcadio Hearn. An old man and his son climbed a mountain to collect firewood. It began to snow heavily, and unable to make it back home, they decided to pass the night in a small hut. In the middle of the night, the young man awoke to see that the door had blown open. A tall woman with long hair and a white kimono was leaning over his father, blowing her breath upon him. When she saw that the son was awake, she said, "You are a handsome young man, so I will let you live. But if you ever speak of this to anyone, you shall be forfeit." In the morning, the young man found his father frozen and dead. He climbed down the mountain alone and never spoke of the episode. A year later, he met and married a young, beautiful girl. They had children together and were happy, but the night of his father's death still weighed heavily on his mind. One night, after having a bit too much to drink, the man told his wife about his encounter with the Snow Woman. She was furious. "You promised not to tell," she screamed, and before his eyes, she became the tall woman with long black hair and a white kimono. "If it were not for our children, I would end your life here and now. I will spare you for their sake, but if anything happens to them, you shall pay the price." And with that, she melted into the wind and was gone. Wow, that is that was a weird story. Issues of Journal of Psychology, or how I pronounce it, Physiology, or Physiology, or how I pronounce it, I'm really not sure. And a bunch of medical books. A quantitative constriction of the membrane current and its application to conjunction excitation in nerve by Hodgkin and Huxley. This doctor stuff. I thought Bullard was some sort of engineer. Lots of difficult sounding medical books and journals. Okay. Harris Bullard, I am a woodcutter. Your past has caught with you. It is over. What's this? Who is the woodcutter? threatening Bullard. A pair of scissors can use to open the package in the other room. It's another lens. I found 2 of them now. Quantum mechanics and functional analysis, not exactly like reading. It's full of technical books. I wonder if Bullard actually read them all. Doesn't turn on, guess it's broken. Okay, well, I guess we go to the door. No. What the fuck was that? It's addressed to J. Herrera and it was sent from Grove Now. The parcel is tied up, I need... It's an old book. It says Quadan on the cover, whatever that means. The author is Lafcadio Hearn. I can't lift this stuff with one arm, even using this hand truck. No piano is blocking the way. Looks like the movers pushed it over here. If my arm wasn't broken, I could push it back. Oh. That's weird. I could have sworn the TV was off before. Doesn't turn on, guess it's broken. This door is locked from the other side, there's no keyhole. I'm sorry I'm not speaking much, I'm trying to concentrate, like, I'm completely stuck now. I have no idea where to go. So I've got a wooden wedge. What am I supposed to do with it? Writing about Ouija boards in 1852, William Benjamin Carpenter was the first to describe the phenomenon known as the ideomotor effect. The ideomotor effect occurs when the subconscious mind takes control of the body without the conscious mind realizing it. Ideomotor action is distinct from other forms of involuntary action because responses are driven by existing knowledge and perception. The Ouija board, Carpenter suggested, is a clear manifestation. The participants unwittingly move the planchette because their subconscious mind is guiding them. Another example of this phenomenon is dowsing, the practice of using a diving rod to locate water or other materials buried underground. The dowser holds the instrument in both hands and allows it to lead him forward until it points down at the ground, seemingly by itself. For centuries, dowsing was believed to be a form of magical witchcraft, but we now know that it can be explained by the ideomotor effect. The dowser's subconscious mind is highly sensitive and is able to recognize cues in the environment, which his conscious mind is not aware. When these cues hint at the location of the water, the subconscious mind takes control of the dowser's hands and causes him to rotate the rod to the ground. Since the subconscious mind is not involved in this operation, the instrument seems to move on its own, pulled as if by some magical force. In reality, it is the dowser himself who is divining. His subconscious mind is responsible both for the detection of buried materials and for the motion of the rod. My research seeks direct access to knowledge stored in the subconscious mind, complete unfiltered linkage between the sensitive unconscious and the logical conscious. I call this state ideofocus. Okay. I don't know what I'm supposed to do now. Okay, I think I'm stuck. There's gotta be something else that I'm missing. What was it? Let's just have a quick look. No. For fuck's sake. What the fuck? There we go. Collected documents. Newspaper clippings, miscellaneous profiles, blackmail note. Okay, here we go. There's no woman. Coroner report. Fucking. What's going on? To 14-1. Remember, it's west, east, north. Right, okay. So, west, east, north. No? West, east, north. So, that's north. That's north. So it would be... No? So that's the last one, so... Oh, fuck's sake. There we go. Oh! Okay. Oh! Jesus! I knew there was more to this story. Whatever Bullard was mixed up in, I bet it's the evidence in that safe. Who was the woodcutter? Open the safe upstairs. Right, okay. I think we're going to leave this part here. But just before we do, we're going to just have a look at that note that we just picked up because... oh, hang on. Hang on, let me find the note. Newspaper clippings, miscellaneous, blackmail notes, research docs. Josie, if you're reading this note, then something must have happened to me. I'm either dead or missing. If so, you're the only person who can save our research. The truth is that I'm being threatened. It started before I left the college. I get notes every few months from somebody calling himself Woodcutter. What if he wants access to our research? He wants me to turn our dream plans for the lunar dream apparatus. Josie, my life is in danger. Woodcutter knows secret things about my past that nobody should know. I'll not yield to simple blackmail, but lately the threats have escalated. I'm sure I am being watched in the house. I sometimes hear things on the other side of the wall. Yesterday, with the mask on, I thought I saw somebody reaching for me. It's a warning from my subconscious. I am no longer safe here. I've locked our research away in the safe upstairs. I want you to retrieve it and leave. Destroy everything before you go. Burn the house down if you have to. Just get the research and get out of here. Head for the big city where it's easy to hide. I'm counting on you, Joe. Don't let our work fall into their hands, Harris. Okay, well, I think, as I say, we are done. I think I'm done for now. This has been Dead Secret, and I will be back very soon with another part of it. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you next time. Bye.